โอเคเดี๋ยวรออาจารย์จอนแป๊บหนึ่งนะครับ
Test, test, test.
Hi, good John. Okay, I will give you a host and I will leave now.
Okay, MTRK. Who's that?
Where is he?
MTRK.
Okay.
Hi. Is there anybody there? Okay, so can you turn your camera on if you can hear me? Or can you just reply so that I know that you are there? Okay.
Hello.
Who's speaking?
Yes. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Who's speaking?
Momo.
Who?
Momo. I forgot to change my name. Sorry.
Momo.
Garen. Yeah, Garen.
Darren. Have you
There you go.
have you
I
been in
changed my name.
Oh, okay. Have you been in the class before?
Yeah,
You're in the first
I
class,
have.
but not yesterday, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Oh, okay. But you're coming to today's class because it's online.
Well, yeah. Well, I was planning to go. Yes. I was planning to come today, but I was online for some reason. So I wasn't free yesterday. I had to do military stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's Thai military, is it?
Yes, I had to do that yesterday.
Oh dear. Okay. Are you happy about that?
It got postponed to the next year due to like they told me to get a doctor notice, but I got it from like an independent hospital instead of a government one. So they
Ah,
told me to come back next year to get a government doctor notice.
okay.
Yeah.
So are you so you might not have to do national service, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Oh, okay. So my son was in kind of the same. You're half Thai, is that right?
Well, I'm like a quarter Chinese and the rest is Thai.
Or Chinese?
Yeah, because
Oh,
my grandpa's from China, my grandma's from Thailand.
okay. So, okay. Gary, that sounds like a foreign name, though. What,
Well, it's actually like a Thai name, but we change it a bit so it's easier for English to say. But in Thai, it's like Karin.
Karin. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So you were in the first class, yeah?
Yes, I was.
But you weren't in yesterday's class.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We will maybe go over the main points of what we covered in yesterday's class.
Okay.
Does that sound?
Yeah, sounds good.
There's only you online at the moment.
Pardon?
There's only you.
Oh
in-
yeah, there's only me and you.
There's only you online.
That's
So
true.
seeing as you were not in yesterday's class, we'll go over the main points of yesterday's class. We'll actually go over the main points of the first class too.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so what can you remember about first class that we looked at?
Um,
Test my teaching ability. What can you remember about the first class that we did?
mm, oh, we talked about like market segments and stuff like that, right?
Market segments and stuff like that. Yes.
Segmentation, like how to develop a market so that you how to like plan out your own market for your business
Okay.
to sell.
Okay. All right. So look, let's just go over what we did in the first class, and maybe I'll go over the details of what we did in the second class too.
Okay.
So here we're identifying the characteristics of the global tour operations market and develop tour concepts, ideas, criteria that align with organizational objectives, priorities, and identified market needs. So essentially, how do you run tour operations in the tour operations market? Okay. Now, the first thing that you need to do is to determine whether it's worth doing. Yeah, maybe it's not worth doing. First step to a business is to establish whether it's viable. What about travel and tourism? Do you think it's a viable business?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty big industry right now. Like
Okay.
there's a big market for it.
What did we say in the first class that confirms this?
The GDP.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're talking about characteristics of tourism, tourists. Okay. And we said that they are people traveling and staying to places outside their usual environment for not more than one consecutive year for leisure, business, or other services. So we know what a tourist is. You will be going to, you're planning on going to the UK, is that correct?
Yes, I am.
And how long will you be going to the UK for?
I think it should be around 1 year, maybe more if I do master.
Okay, so, but essentially, for the course, how long will the course be?
1 year,
No, it won't be.
9 months.
It will be 9 months. So you essentially will be defined as a tourist.
I see.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For this purpose, or for our purpose, you'll be
If I
defined.
get like a visa, does it still say that I'm a tourist or no?
No,
Having a visa.
you are staying
Okay.
in the country for 1 year for less than, and so for like academic purposes, you would be regarded as a tourist.
I see. Okay.
Okay, so based on this World Tourism Organization, traveling to, staying in places outside their usual environment for not more than one consecutive year. You will not be there for a year or more, and therefore you'd be regarded as a tourist. Okay.
Yep.
And we have lots of different types of tourism. Most tourism is leisure tourism. Some tourism is business tourism and other purposes. Can you remember any of the other purposes that we considered?
Like sustainable tourism, doom
Well,
tourism.
the tourism that you're going to engage in is educational tourism.
Oh, I see. Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So Is this worth doing as a business? Now, you mentioned the GDP.
Mhm.
GDP is the total value created by an economy. And so we have a global GDP and $6 trillion or 9% of all the money which is made in the entire world. So if we say 9 or 10% and 1 in 12 jobs, that's,
Mhm.
let's say very roughly 10% of all jobs and all money is related to the travel industry. So this is definitely something worth doing, right? If you're
Mhm.
going to go into it. Globally, it's worth doing, but in Thailand, what do you think?
I think it's even better since Thailand is like big in tourism.
Okay, so 2019 contribution to travel and tourism, 21.9% of the whole economy in Thailand.
Mhm.
Now, does that sound like a lot to you?
Yes, it does.
Okay, now for any one industry to have like a fifth of all of the GDP, that
Yeah.
is quite a considerable contribution to it. But we
Mhm.
talked about what GDP represents, and as far as some companies, some businesses are concerned, like we talked about the automobile industry,
Mhm.
what's their model? What do they do?
They sell cars.
They make cars and they
And
sell them,
Yep.
and that's it. And it's a very focused industry.
Mhm.
Yeah, they make the car, they give it to the showroom sells it, that's it. So it's very easy to manage. It's very easy to keep control over what they represent as far as the economy is concerned.
Mhm.
But we talked about travel and tourism, and it's a bit different. Can you remember how
Mhm.
it's different?
Because there's like a lot of contributions.
Mhm.
There could be like the one on the PowerPoint, like direct, indirect, or induced contributions to the
Okay.
industry.
Well, direct contribution to the industry, obviously hotels, airlines, transport, that's geared
Mhm.
towards tourism. They are directly contributing to the GDP. What did we say indirect was? Can you remember?
Yeah, it was like other companies investing in tourism companies, or maybe like um buying supplies from tourism company buying supplies from other companies.
So yeah.
For,
So
for example, like a restaurant buying like ingredients from the market, local market.
okay. So in indirect contribution, yeah, planes are, maybe we could say they are a direct contribution to travel and tourism, but we could also say they're indirect because not
I see.
everybody's flying for tourism purposes. But
Mhm.
as far as the airports are concerned, they do benefit from travel and tourism, but people build those airports. Now, the people who build those airports are not directly involved in travel and tourism, but they benefit from
I
it.
see.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what about induced? What did we say that was?
It's like the people who works in tourism industry, like how they if they spend in a country, that means it's an induced contribution. Like if they use a business in that country.
So if somebody who's working for a hotel goes to McDonald's, then McDonald's represents part of the travel industry just for that
Yes.
period of time. Okay. All right. So we talked about tourism being consumed at the point of production. Can you remember what we meant by that?
Is it like you don't get a physical product, you use it right away?
Okay. So there is no, it's not a service. It is a product, but
Uh,
it's something that you use where it is produced.
I see.
Now, a piece of chocolate, you make it at the factory, you consume it at your home. But tourism, you go on a holiday and you consume it at the holiday destination. Okay?
Mhm.
So,
Yep.
tourism consumed at the point of production and very diverse. It could be SMEs, it could be airlines, it could be individuals, it could be, there's any manner. Some of it are public, some of it private sector. So there's lots of different types of companies that are involved in this. And we talked about different types of tourism.
Yep.
So we talked about sustainable ecotourism. What are they geared towards?
Environmental friendly, protecting the earth.
Okay. And we talked about pro-poor tourism and
Mhm.
recession tourism. What did we say about recession tourism?
It's like where you go to countries that have a low value of currency, so you can spend the same amount of money for more stuff.
Okay. And we also talked about medical tourism, which is a very big thing. Okay, it's
Yes.
particularly big in Thailand. And it's particularly big in Thailand because of transgender surgery. So Thailand is without
Yeah.
shadow of the doubt the leader in the world in this type of surgery. Okay.
Mhm.
All right, educational tourism, obviously what you're going to be doing. Yeah, but there's lots of different types of educational tourism. We looked briefly at dark tourism and doom tourism, sports tourism. Okay, so lots of different types of tourism. And obviously lots of different destinations that you could go to, coastal areas, different types of holiday towns. If you're going to a business center for a conference, that type of thing. Okay, so fairly straightforward. Cultural heritage sites, handmade sites or specifically built centers, purpose-built centers such as Disneyland. Okay, all right, so we went through those.
Mhm.
How do you get customers? And we talked about this basically, market segmentation. What did you understand as market segmentation? What did you
Like we have to create categories of maybe like people's behavior, their interests, to create like a similar group, similar interest group, so that
Mhm.
we can focus on who to promote our product to, or
Exactly.
which type of
So it's fairly common sense, but you can refine this really significantly. Yeah, you can really profile the type of customer that your company is looking at. And
Mhm.
if you have a very, very strong profile, then you're going to know where you're going to advertise. Okay, so this person's profile, full moon party, how would you advertise to him? What you're going to do you think?
Maybe like uh social media ads, or like put ads on local market where people go, where like these type of people go.
Okay, all right, okay. And we talked about going down to Kosan Road with flyers or using Facebook, TV.
Yes.
Probably. What do you think about TV? Good
I think
option.
it's a less common option, because I don't think they would view TV as much as like business people, or like uh I don't know, millennials.
So I think what type of product would be best advertised on TV?
Maybe household products.
Okay, so it's you have to match the medium with the profile. Okay,
Mhm.
how are you going to do this? Okay, we looked at this guy. We looked at how you could do that. Did you check out LinkedIn?
Yeah, it's like you have to create a resume and then post it, and then people can you know, like hire you from that. Is it
Okay, but
what I've got from like
yeah,
checking out the app?
that is basically what it is. But I mean, there's more to it than that. There's difference. This it's very much like Facebook, but it's got a business angle.
Yeah.
It's And if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, perhaps right now you wouldn't need them, but as you are reaching the end of your education in the UK, and as soon as you have some sort of work experience, then it would be a really good option to get a LinkedIn an account.
Is this only viable in Thailand?
LinkedIn?
Yeah.
No,
Or is it used globally? I
in
see.
fact, I would say there are fewer people who use it in Thailand than they do in the United Kingdom and the United States.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So this is it's a global thing. And what is great about LinkedIn is people look at your profile and then you will be given information that people have looked at your profile.
I see.
And so rather than just give me one moment.
All right.
Sorry, my wife's just in the background. That's all. She's
No worries.
speaking on a phone. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah. No, LinkedIn is international, and what's great about it is if you you can see which people are looking at your profile, so you can see which types of companies are interested in your profile, and when you have a pattern of the types of companies that are looking for you, then you can approach that type of company with your CV. Okay? So it kind of works a different way. If you find that for some reason there's 5 or 6 companies, chocolate companies that are looking at your CV, and you can't figure out the reason why, it doesn't really matter. You know you're getting that interest from that type of company, so you can send your CV to those people. So it creates patterns. It's really good. Now, so you talked about segmentation. There is a lot of different types of segmentation. We talked about places where the weather is bad. If you were going to advertise, Thailand, demographics of people, age, what they earn, if they're in a family, or whether they're single, that type of thing. And psychographic, more about personalities and lifestyles. We said vegetarians are a lifestyle, okay, and you might be able to sell them a holiday which is related to things associated with the environment, that type of thing. Okay, all right, so we looked at a lot of different types of leisure tourism, and we said that particularly in countries like Thailand, there are specific seasons. And so in Thailand, when is the holiday season, do you think?
During the summer? Or what do you mean, like holiday for other countries or for us?
No, I mean the tourism season then. Let's
During like December.
okay, so
Yeah, winter times for the US around then.
So it gets a little bit cooler around those times.
Yep.
And which is why it's more comfortable. And so people tend to come around that time. If they came in the middle of summer, they might very well die. So
Yes.
we don't want that.
Like right now.
It's quite strange because everybody's saying it's very, very hot. And I know it's hot, but I don't see why it's hotter than usual. So,
I just feel like it's more humid. It's like the air is heavier than normal. So that's why it's maybe hotter.
I don't know. I'd like to see the pollution
Oh
report.
yeah,
I'm wondering whether it's because there's
maybe the
pollution and that. Okay, so we've got the climate, we've got, summer and winter, social events. Okay, all right, so we've got religious events. Yeah. And we can play around with the seasons, we can extend them. So I think in class, the example we gave was Songkran. Songkran is around about April, but the season ends around about January. So it's possible that you can make people extend their holidays for that period. It's possible. Now, we also looked at strategic alliances, which in a global industry is absolutely vital. A lot of destinations are just so limited in terms of the number of people who support them. So we talked about in the industry, Star Alliance is a very good indicator of that type of partnership. So you can fly to really basically anywhere in the world on one ticket using the Star Alliance, and that's great because it adds convenience to travel. Okay, yeah. So, and again, we talked about the travel industry, the hotel industry. The Best Western group is a bunch of independent hotels, which they just have the term Best Western at the beginning, which means they're part of this group. This group's involved in maintaining standards, and they are also involved in promotion and advertising. So if you go to a Best Western hotel, you know you're getting a good quality hotel. Okay, and then we just had a quick discussion on what is quality, and we talked about different products. And essentially, quality is dependent on what people think it is. There's no definition of quality, right? If you think that a Realme 5i is better than an iPhone 12, that's what you think. It cannot be proved that it's not. So basically, one of the terms we say is quality is in the eye of the beholder. It's what people think. Okay. All right. So, all right. But as far as quality is concerned, how do you maintain quality? Well, you have to talk to your customers. You have to train your staff. And there's lots of different tools that we can use to maintain quality. So, for example, we can use these types of surveys. And once we have some real statistics and we find that we're not as great in a couple of areas as in others, all right? So one area is particularly quality room amenities. People don't like the soap and the shampoo that they put in the rooms. As a result, we can work on that. We have something tangible. We have something real. Now, as I said, quality is not real, but when you get statistics, it becomes more real. So if 98% of people who take this questionnaire do not like the shampoo and soap, then you have to do something about it. Fair enough?
Yep.
Okay. One tool that people use is focus groups. They talk to their customers, and the last thing that we discussed was having a systematic approach to quality. Now, there are lots of quality systems in the world. Probably the most famous is ISO 9000. Have you ever heard of ISO 9000?
No, I have not.
Okay.
But
Yeah, so ISO 9000 is basically a list of things that companies need to do to be able to give quality. All right. Now, it's not something that defines quality, but they suggest you need to have a set of standards that if you perform them, then you are probably going to give a quality service. And it can be done, there's ISO standards for ISO 9001, which is for computers and computing. the environment, for information security, that type of thing. There's lots of different ISO standards. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So that's just a very quick revision on what we looked at on the first lesson. And seeing as there's only you on board right now, I think what we'll do is, okay, I'll go through a summary of what we did in the second class as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just give me a moment. Oh, how do I do this? Stop share. Okay. Okay. All right. So what are we, purpose of the second lesson, trying to develop tours that meet particular objectives. And you need to be able to define and to be able to evaluate a number of different places. So if somebody has a particular reason for travel, you have to be able to meet that by sending them to the right destination against the agreed criteria. So if somebody wants a very high quality experience, then they're going to go to a 5-star hotel or resort. If they want it cheap and cheerful, they're probably going to go Kosan Road or something of that nature. But your job is to be able to provide that service to anybody who is your customer. And to do that, you have to be able to evaluate the various risks associated with different types of tours, the benefits and risks.
So, quick question. So the first chapter is about like the consumer and the market, and then the second chapter is about like our product. Is that correct?
Well, it's kind of there's a bit of a mix and match, but yeah, that's essentially what we're looking at here.
Okay, gotcha.
All right, so we've already established is that there's different types of travel, leisure, business, religious purposes. Actually, just give me one moment.
Yep.
Okay, I'm having a few technical issues here. Just give me a minute.
No worries.
Okay, so you can see that now, can you?
Yes, I can.
We said that there's different types of travel, leisure, business, religious, education. Okay. And in the field of leisure tourism, there's lots of different subgroups, sport and health. Right. So, for example, a lot of people come to Thailand for Muay Thai holidays, that type of thing. Short break, education, beach holidays, cultural holidays. Okay, so let's have a look at these. And we talked about business tourism. I think we defined business tourism quite well. Religious tourism, we talked about this. This is the Hajj, yeah, which we looked at in the first class. And why is the Hajj particularly important for tourism?
Because it's a place where all Muslim must go. That's what they believe. It's like a religious
Okay,
belief.
so this is, and how many Muslims are there in the world?
I'm not so sure, but I heard it's like the biggest religious.
So
Is it?
we're talking about a lot of people who have to go to Mecca once in their lives. So every year, this is a tremendous market. Okay, but it's not just that. There are other types of religious. Can you see that?
Yes, I can.
Sites of religious pilgrimage, right? I'm just checking that you can see. So it's not just the Hajj. There's lots of different places where tourism is important. Lumbini, the birthplace of Lord Buddha, people go there for their pilgrimage. And let's see, Vatican City. Where's Vatican City?
Are you showing like a page of photos or
All
is
right,
it the same?
you can't see it right now. Okay, that's okay. I know what's going on then now. Okay, so we looked at Lumbini. Can you see it now,
Oh,
right?
yes, I can see it now.
Okay. Lumbini is the birthplace of the Lord Buddha. People want to go there for their holidays. People want to go to the Vatican City.
Mhm.
Okay, and people want to go to Wittenberg, which is the Protestant religion, which is what I am.
I see.
Mecca we already mentioned. So again, this whole idea of the Golden Temple for Sikhs, it's a very big thing. Western Wall in Jerusalem for Jews. Almost every religion has a set of shrines or a set of places that are of religious importance. And so it's important that you are able to cater for religious groups adequately. So special interest holidays. Let's just have a look at a few of these special interest holidays. A culinary tour. What does culinary mean?
Food.
You have a look at the pictures. What does it mean?
Food.
Okay, so culinary tour, people traveling around to experience local cuisine.
Yes.
And of course, this is a big thing in Thailand. This is a huge market. Yoga retreats, very specific, but fits into the whole idea of meditation, wellness. Again, these
Leisure
are
tourism.
very particularly popular in Thailand.
Mhm.
Safaris. Now, where would you send somebody on a safari, do you think?
Maybe in Africa.
But they also have them in Thailand.
Yeah.
Because you have a very big, what do they call it? You have an open reserve in Thailand where animals can roam free, particularly elephants. Archaeological dig experiences.
Mhm.
What does that mean?
For like fossils, like bones, ancient
Yeah,
stuff.
okay, that type of thing. And so people actually, this is what I find quite weird. They actually pay to go and do all the hard work. Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
if that's what they think is a holiday, good luck to them. But that's not my idea of a holiday. But if that's what they like, good luck to them. Okay.
Yep.
So they actually pay to go to support universities by doing digging. Okay.
Oh, I see.
So they're actually paying the
So like,
university to go and do hard work. It's quite weird.
so most of the tour guides here are like university students or
You mean in
like
Thailand?
no, the tour guides for
No,
archaeological
you're
dig.
not going to have a tour guide for this. What you're going to
Oh,
do
you
is
don't?
you're going to sell a holiday.
Oh, so you like they don't teach you how to do it. You just go in and do it.
You essentially go in and do what they tell you to do.
I see.
So you're not learning to become an archaeologist, you're supporting the archaeologists.
I see.
All right. So you literally, rather than them pay you for your work, you're literally paying them to work with them, which is not my idea of fun.
Maybe people want to pay for experience.
That's
Maybe.
perfect. And they pay quite a lot of money, which is quite weird.
Yeah.
Wine tasting. Typically, where would you go for a wine tasting experience?
Europe,
Specifically?
Italy, France.
Do you think Thailand would fit the bill?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, well, let's have a quick look. So, Thailand wine tasting and winery tours. There they are.
Oh.
Okay.
In the Khao Yai.
Khao Yai Vineyard tasting tour. 5,900 baht per person.
Hmm.
Okay, so yeah, There's another set of activities, but wine tasting, not something Thailand would be typically
Popular.
related to. People probably wouldn't think of Thailand as that type, but yeah, it is.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's have a look at what else we've got. We have language immersion programs.
Mhm.
What's that all about?
Learning the home country's language.
Mhm. So immersion, what does immersion mean then?
Like going into something.
It means like jumping into, when you jump into a swimming pool, that's immersion. You're surrounded by water, and so you're
Oh, I
surrounded by the language.
uh,
So if you go to, for example, if you go to the United Kingdom, but you have a Thai tour guide,
mhm.
you're not immersed in the language
Yeah.
for somebody speaking Thai to you. But if you go to the UK and you never hear a word of Thai spoken, then that's immersion. And again, in Thailand, we have these types of programs.
Mhm.
People need to learn Thai quickly. You would not think this is a type of program that would exist in Thailand, but there are a lot of professionals, particularly working for the United Nations and NGOs, and they have to learn to speak in Thai extremely quickly. Okay,
Okay.
good luck
Yeah.
to them, because I've been here for 30 years and I still find it very confusing.
Are you able to speak a little bit or no?
I can, yeah, I mean, I can understand a lot, but
Ah, yes,
speaking I find real tough. I think it's
I
just
see.
really hard. The tone, I
Yeah.
don't get the tones. Kai. I just
Yeah, tone's also hard for me. Like
don't get it.
sounds like
I just something wrong with my brain. But anyway, for other languages, almost every language has these types of programs. Ecotourism, adventure tourism, we talked about.
Yep.
Obviously, in Thailand, we have these types of tours, and surfing camp.
Mhm.
Do you think that would be available in Thailand?
Yeah, I think because it's near the sea, it's surrounded by the sea
Okay, so
and
yeah,
the
we
soft
have
side. Oh yeah.
photography workshops, okay, and volunteering abroad.
Uh,
You got a lot of volunteers around the world, VSO,
mhm.
and what is curious is that these people pay for that opportunity. And they need someone to manage that opportunity for them. And typically, it's travel agents, it's
Mhm.
people involved in the travel industry. And again, in Thailand, these sorts of programs are very prevalent. Okay, so you have these volunteer programs. Okay, and looking for forest elephants, supporting elephants, that type of thing.
Mm.
Okay, now what you need to remember is that these programs, the country is benefiting from these programs, but people are paying for them. Right? They're not being paid. Yeah? It's a very curious arrangement. People come to work to be part of these schemes, to experience them, and this is a very lucrative area of travel.
Mhm.
Astronomy tours, wellness retreats, we talked about them basically, and cultural immersion programs. Now, different from language immersion. In Thailand, people go and stay with the hill tribes.
Mhm.
Adventure, sports, artisan craft workshops. So let's see what people want to do in Thailand. So in Thailand, obviously people looking for things like food, but jewelry making. Yeah.
Mhm.
So one place on a jewelry making course is $112. And how long do you get? 5 hours.
Wow.
It's quite expensive, do you not think?
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, it's just
But
one.
maybe it depends on what jewelry they make. Maybe they get it back home. They get it, make it like they're able to bring it back.
They take the skill back with them.
And the product maybe, or no?
I don't think they're going to take the product with them, but can't think that the product's going to be much value, to be
Oh
honest.
yeah.
Yeah. But they can take that skill with them, and that's what they're investing in, getting the skill. All right. So okay. All right. So look, there's lots of different holidays that people can go on. And obviously you have to evaluate the destinations that people are going to go to against agreed criteria, what they want. Okay. They want a hot country, that's one criteria. Low crime, that's another criteria. Okay, so obviously in Thailand, we know Thailand very, very well.
Yes.
And lots of attractions for the tourist. Okay, just give me one minute. Are you okay? Are you okay, guys? Sorry about that.
No worries.
My dog's got cancer and she's not very
Oh,
well.
I got a dog too that has like problems with intestine,
Oh, really?
and yeah, she just walks around like the house without like knowing where she is.
Oh dear. I'm sorry to hear that. It's
Yeah.
very sad. Very sad.
Yeah,
People who are not dog owners, they don't understand how sad it is.
that's true.
So a number of destinations. So Ayutthaya, who would you send to Ayutthaya, do you think? What profile of person?
Maybe backpackers or religious travelers,
Okay.
because there's a lot of temples
Okay. What
and
about
monuments.
Chiang Mai Night Bazaar? Who's going to go there, do you think?
Maybe like teenagers, party people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, night bazaar, is it a club or what is that?
No, it's a market.
Oh, I see. Maybe then I say more of backpackers then. So,
Well, it's possible, but I think this is a market which sells a lot of Thai products.
yep,
And so I think it might be more mainstream, right?
I see.
I think backpackers, maybe they've got their own part of town. So the night bazaar, I think it's quite middle of the road. It's quite conservative.
Mhm.
Koh Chang, who's going to go there, do you think? He's going to send middle-aged couple to Koh Chang?
No, maybe like honeymoon, you know.
Okay. All right. So look, but obviously every country has its destination. Okay. And your role as a travel agent, unfortunately, is to become acquainted with all of them. Now, once you have defined what you're going to specialize in, if you're just going to become a general travel agent, then the whole world is your market. And so you're going to need constantly to work out where you can send your customers. Now, obviously, there are the normal destinations, okay, North Africa, South America, North America, South America. There are normal holidaying countries, but I mean, for example, what about North Korea? Are you going to send people there?
No,
Why not?
not really a tourist country.
Okay.
It's really hard to get in and out.
Is that
That's what I've heard.
okay? All right. Well, let's have a quick look on the internet then. Okay, so visit North Korea. Okay. So let's have a quick look.
And are there also like borders for tourists where like places they can't enter in North Korea?
So we have a website here dedicated to tourism in North Korea. Right now,
Awesome.
obviously, this is a private company. Okay, it's very probably related to the North Korean government. But the fact is that it's fairly straightforward once you have the right agent, once you have the right person to help you, it's quite straightforward. The only difference between your experience in North Korea is you always have somebody with you. Okay, so
I see.
it's not going to be that comfortable. So you need to be very much aware of all of the different types of destination that's available, because some destinations can suddenly become very popular very quickly.
Mhm.
Okay, so yeah, you need to look at all of these places. Are you familiar with Canada in any fashion?
Not really.
Okay,
Just know
so
where it is.
you just know where it is. There you go.
Yeah, and then my mom's been to Vancouver for her studies, and she said it's really, really cold.
Okay, well, maybe time to move there then.
Yeah,
Okay,
true.
all right. And China. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
where would you send people in China? There's lots of attractions.
Yeah.
Great Wall of China, Terracotta Army. These are the typical destinations that people want to travel to.
Mhm.
Okay. Egypt, fairly straightforward.
Yep.
We've got the pyramids, but we've also got other places such as Luxor. Have you ever actually heard of this place, Luxor?
No, I've not heard of Luxor.
Okay, so what is very interesting about Luxor is, let me just give you some sort of idea. This doesn't look particularly big, but if I'm going to draw about the size of a person here.
Mhm.
That's about the size of a person. Okay.
Where?
So this black mark
Oh,
picture,
I see. Wow.
is about the size of a person.
Oh, wow.
So,
Is it a pyramid as well?
excuse me?
Is it a pyramid as well, or
No,
no?
it's not. It's just it's carved out.
Temple?
It's carved out of a single piece of rock.
Oh, wow.
So it's just a big piece of rock, and this has been
Mhm.
carved into it.
Wow.
And it's incredibly big. And so
Mhm.
if you're standing here, yeah, then you're looking at, I don't know, you're looking at maybe this guy is probably the same size as the building that Finn Business School is in. Okay, but
Yep.
it's much taller than that. Now, what's incredibly interesting about this is I've actually been here. This single piece of rock is made of rock that's not found in that area,
Oh,
and they don't know how it got there.
wow.
So it's quite fascinating. I've been here. Can you see here?
Yeah.
Can you see there's like lots of cracks?
Mhm.
So these cracks were made by the United Nations. The United
Like,
Nations moved this rock from its
mhm.
original destination and put it at the top of a
Oh,
mountain. And the reason they did that was because they were flooding a valley.
wow.
But the point here is these things are thousands of years old, but the United Nations had to cut this into small pieces to move it.
I
We
see.
don't have the technology to be able to move this piece of rock. So question is, how did
they
they
get
move
there?
it thousands of years ago? It's quite weird.
Mm.
Now, that little story is the sort of story you need to be telling your customers, right?
Yeah.
That's gonna sell your holiday. Okay, so France, Eiffel Tower, Saint-Tropez. This is where all the rich guys hang out. Okay. So lots of different destinations. India, where would you go in India, you think?
No clue. I've not heard of. Oh yeah, the Taj Mahal. I've heard of that.
So Taj Mahal, certainly. And Italy,
Yeah.
where's
Leaning Tower Pizza. The Leaning Tower Pizza.
Pisa, not pizza.
Oh, Pisa.
Yeah, okay. All right, so look, Mexico, Singapore, do you feel that is a tourist attraction, Singapore?
Yes, I think it is.
Okay. So there's a nice Chinatown there, United Kingdom, Buckingham Palace, Stonehenge, usual stuff. Okay. Where's this picture of?
The Grand Canyon?
And this is an enormous space.
Yes.
Now, you have to, as a tour operator, evaluate the benefits and risks associated with different types of tour. Now, each tour is going to have benefits for different age groups. It's also going to hold different risks for different age groups. So, for example, are we going to send people my age there?
No,
Why not?
because I think you'd be more into leisure tourism, not adventure.
Very well done. You managed to say that without saying because you're too old, which is what most people say. Very well done. You get
Thank you.
top marks for that. Very good. Okay, so look. Destination attractions and environments, some are natural, some are built, some are cultural, social attractions as we looked. Some attractions have facilities. So there may be accommodation available, there might be restaurants, you may be able to get transport to the site. There may be retail outlets and other types of services where people can get the souvenirs that they want. They may be able to get the medicine that they want, but other places may not have any of those. You need to establish the accessibility of a destination. Is it possible to get there? Do you need any particular equipment to get there? Is it fraught with government regulations? Is it a difficult place to manage as far as the local government is concerned? And the price to the consumer, the sum of what it costs to travel, accommodation, and participation in a selected range of facilities and services. Obviously, you need to be able to sell it. So it needs to be a destination that has a price that's going to be accessible to your potential customers. Okay? There is no point in having a destination that's going to be so expensive that nobody can get there. How are people going to choose what destinations to go to? Well, there's going to be a number of factors. Okay, so following can be taken as influencing factors for travel and tourism industry. The economy. Now, we talked before about the price of a McDonald's in Mexico and in the United States. The economy in the United States is clearly a lot stronger than it is in Mexico. Yet the facilities are generally the same. You know, you get first class hotels, you've got great tourism destinations. So essentially, it's going to cost you less to go to Mexico than it is to go to the United States. That's going to be an influencing factor as far as your customers are concerned. How much can they get for their travel dollar? The politics of a destination is going to be very important. Now, a lot of people, we talked about North Korea, a lot of people would not go to North Korea, however easy it is. Why? Because they're scared of the politics of the environment. It's a communist country. It only has one person as a dictator. Anything can happen in that country. So people might be a little bit scared going, they might be a little bit wary. But there are other political issues that as a travel and tour operator, you need to be aware of. So what about the European Union? What do you know about it?
That it's an ally.
Not
That's
an
all I know.
alliance.
Alliance, I see.
It's an alliance of countries.
So it's safer for
How
people?
many countries are in the EU?
I have no idea.
You have no idea. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly now myself, but there are about 23 countries, I think, in the European Union. Okay, let's just get this on the map because it's worth looking at. It might be even easier for you to understand. Okay.
So the EU proves as like a positive point for the tourists or no?
Okay, well, let's just have a quick look.
Okay.
All right, now, these countries that are in colors are in the United Kingdom. Sorry, are in the European Union. Okay. So if you are in the European Union, what does that mean? It means that you can travel from here to here, and you don't need a visa.
I see.
Okay. Now that's the benefit for European citizens. But if you are somebody going to a European country, when you get a visa, you get a visa for all locations. Okay, so you might want to go to France. You might want to go to Paris, but if you get a visa for the European Union, that means you can go to Madrid, you can go to Warsaw, you can go to any of these countries. There's no additional visa. Now that's got to be a benefit, right?
Yes.
So what about the United Kingdom? What about the UK? Do you think the UK is in this group?
I am trying to find the UK. I can't find it. So maybe not.
Can you see the screen right now that I'm showing you?
Yes, I can. I still can't see the UK.
In Europe?
I can't see UK.
You
Is
can't.
it next to Ireland?
Is it next to Ireland? Ireland's next to us. So what color?
Pardon?
What color?
Like skin color?
Okay, so there are a number of countries here that are a skin color. They are not in the European Union, and that means that, for example, if somebody wants to go to Europe and they want to go to Paris and London, they're going to need to get 2 visas. Now, the UK used to be part of this group, but they are no longer part of this group. They left this group. Stupid move, but they did that. So
for some reason, I've heard from my friends that like they've been studying in the UK, but they don't have to get a visa to like travel to France for some reason.
Again, sorry?
My friends is studying in the UK, and they told me like they can like go to France whenever. They don't need a visa for like holidays.
I think that's old news now.
I see.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I think maybe they told you that a few years ago. Because a few years ago it was true, but right now it's not.
So they like literally just left like how many years ago?
They left in I think it was 2019,
I see.
but the restrictions were not immediate.
Mm-hmm. Uh, 20.
So
I
2020,
see.
they left the UK. So it's the last 4 years, but the restrictions were not immediate. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What happened was that it was all introduced very, very slowly. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a big problem because a lot of businesses are geared towards Britain being in the United Kingdom being in the European Union. And when they left, that means it's changed considerably. Their businesses have changed a lot because of this.
Mm.
If they're providing holidays in the United Kingdom, it's going to be a lot more expensive for them to do business. So these are the sorts of things that you need to stay aware of. Okay, so that means reading the newspaper, not Instagram. Okay.
Yeah.
Crisis and threats. Terrorism. What do we mean by terrorism?
Like locals rebelling.
So where in Thailand do you sometimes experience terrorism?
In Bangkok, like
Yeah.
rebel.
Which part of Thailand that's not Bangkok do you sometimes have this problem?
Phuket? Not sure.
So in the deep south of Thailand, around Yala, there are
Oh, is it
majority of Muslims.
There are what?
Majority Muslim.
Oh, I see.
And a lot of Muslims in that area, they want to
Mhm.
join what they call caliphate.
Mm-hmm.
And that means that they want to make one country from part of Thailand, part of Malaysia, part of Indonesia, and part of the Philippines.
I see.
They want to create a new country. And it will be entirely Muslim. There'll be no Buddhists in it. And that sometimes you get people burning down schools, that type of thing. Okay. That represents terrorism. So of course you need to be aware of that. Now, right now, what's the biggest crisis and threat that is possibly going to happen
In the world?
in the world? Yeah, you should be aware of it. Okay, so look.
Maybe the sea level is the seawater is increasing.
Okay, well that's that.
Maybe not.
Possibly, yeah, that's but for political crisis, there seems to be
the Russia war with Ukraine.
Russia and Ukraine are war, but the big one that's the most latest one is the Iran is planning to attack Israel.
Oh yes, yes.
Okay, so now again,
Pakistan and Israel.
Pakistan and India,
Right?
you have to be on top of all of this. This is your job. Okay.
Yep, got you.
Yeah. You're going to send your customers to die. You're never going to have a business again, right? So we mentioned demographic. You know, sometimes demographic changes can make people want to go to certain destinations. A very important thing is technology. People cannot live without technology these days, and if they go to a environment where there is no technology, it's going to be very difficult for them. I mean, people basically run their businesses from a mobile phone these days. If there's no internet, they're not going to run their business. So, okay. Now, there are a number of influences on what people think about a particular country. All right, so we're going to have a very brief discussion on these. So there are a number of influences. There's perception. A perception basically means what people,
How you see?
how people
How
see.
you imagine?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
it.
Choice, image. Okay, so again, how an area presents itself, or how people believe it is presented,
Mhm.
that can make a big difference to people, whether people want to visit. People's attitude and their assessment of the risk is going to influence their decision to go to a particular destination or not. So perception, since people often don't absorb all the information at once, they tend to make impressions of a destination. If a friend speaks enthusiastically of a particular destination, they tend to have a positive perception about it. Now, I've heard this very many times in Thailand. People who are not happy with the course they're taking, and their choice of course was because their friend really, really liked it.
Yeah,
That's very common, far too common.
that's true.
I believe it's
That's true.
much too common, really. It's too expensive for that type of thing. And so is a holiday. You have to, people should do their research. And
Mhm.
what does that mean for you? Well, that means for you, if you send somebody to a holiday that their friend said was great, there's a chance that they're not going to like it. And who are they going to blame? Their friend?
The products. No, us. The people who make the product.
Well, they might
Or,
blame the country, but they're probably going to blame you for sending them there.
yeah.
In which case, you've got to be able to make sure that they're making the right decision. That's really part of your job. You've got to spoon feed these people
I
like
see.
babies. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. And there are a number of choices available to people. You've got to make them aware of the options. I mean, particularly if they say, oh, my friend said, oh, this place, well, you have to assess whether they're going to find that place suitable. And if you don't think it's suitable, you've got to give alternatives.
Mm.
Image is very important. If the image of a particular destination is not positive, it can dissuade people from traveling to it. So let's think about two places in Thailand, Pattaya and Phuket. Which has the best image, do you think?
I'd say Phuket.
Why is that?
Because it's more developed and like it's I don't know. The activities are like I don't know how to explain it, but it's
Yeah, I know. I know.
less sexual maybe.
Yeah, people are not happy about what goes on in that area, right? But
Yeah.
I honestly would say that Pattaya and Phuket are essential. Oh, sorry, Chonburi and Phuket are essentially no different.
Oh,
And what has happened is Pattaya has got a very bad reputation. Why? Because of its history. Yeah. Pattaya was a place
yeah.
where a lot of American soldiers came during the Vietnamese War. So it really it's really not a proper image. It's not a correct image of Pattaya. Pattaya it has that problem, but every city in the world has that problem. So it's a very difficult thing to change people's views of their perception of a place. And unfortunately, still Pattaya does have kind of a bad image. And I really hope one day that will change.
Yeah.
It's also important to create a unique image of your destination. Sea sand resorts tend to suffer from the dilemma of having to project theirs in a different manner. Okay, so what they're saying here is, how can you influence people's attitude towards particular destinations when they are essentially the same? Two beaches are two beaches. If they're both beautiful and the water is blue, it's difficult to establish which one is better. Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
One particular, we talked about this before, but one particular area could be perceived risk. Okay.
Mhm.
Some destinations, there's more of a perceived risk of illness.
Mhm.
So if I said Africa and Europe, where am I most likely to get sick?
I'd say Africa.
Okay, but you have no knowledge of that. You have reason to come up with that conclusion.
Mhm.
Most of
Yeah.
Africa is very developed, most of Africa. So some parts of Africa, yes. But
Mhm.
people's perceptions of Africa is a country where they may get ill.
Mhm.
So, for example, what about the difference between Europe and Thailand as far as weather is concerned? Where's the best weather?
I'd say Europe for me.
Europe, you would say the best weather. Why do you say
Yeah,
that?
because it has all 4 seasons.
Okay. Where do you
I
think,
like.
where do you think the people in Europe feel has the best weather?
Yeah, they'd say Thailand has better weather, maybe because it's more consistent all throughout the year.
Yeah, in Thailand you just have the 3 seasons, right? Hot, hotter, hotter.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe some rainy seasons in.
Uncertainty of a product. Yeah. How certain you are about, is it risk-free? Is it somewhere you're going to be safe?
Mhm.
It's without education, people, if any level of uncertainty, they're very unlikely to choose a particular destination if there's any risk. Now, the other thing is value for money. What do you understand as being value for money?
So, how much value you're getting for spending this amount of money,
Can you
or
give me
how much you're getting from?
an example of what you mean there?
So maybe a a travel agent selling a package of like going to Japan for 6 days and then just traveling all throughout Japan, not only in one city. That's like maybe that's more value for other people.
Okay, so value for money is something that's sort of, everybody has their own idea of value for money. But basically it breaks
Mhm.
down to one thing, being able to get more for your money. Okay,
Mhm.
so this is not just about how cheap something is. This
I
is
see.
about the quality of whatever it is that you're experiencing. Okay,
Mhm.
now, do you have an iPhone?
Yes, I do.
And do you think it's value for money?
Um, Honestly, no,
Okay.
I don't think so.
Hmm.
For all its like, I don't know, like capabilities, I think other phones has it too, and it's cheaper.
So what made you want
Maybe
to
like
buy-
the only difference that I see is like the durability, but I don't think it's like I don't think it fits the value for like their price.
Okay. All right, so you've got a good idea of what value for money means. Why did you buy an iPhone then?
I'd say because of the image.
That's very honest of you. Very good. Okay, so risk is going to be an element on what people choose as a destination. Okay, but there are other what we call socio-demographic influences. So the demographic of a person is how much money they earn, which is level of income. Are they graduates? Socio-economic background. What do you understand as that?
Like how they were built, like how they're grown up, like the environment that they've grown up with.
Okay, so socio means society, economic means money. Really, what they're
Mhm.
talking about here is class. Okay,
Mhm.
so class maybe is a term that people don't like using these days too much. But in the past, we would say lower classes, working classes, upper classes. These phrases tend not to be so prevalent these days, but that's what they mean. Okay.
Yeah.
And obviously, age is very important.
Mhm.
So let's have a look at the influence on these. Age. The elderly would not seek adventure trekking, and the young often dislike passive activities. Okay.
Mm.
I'm not sure that's always true as far as the elderly. What do we mean by elderly these days? Age,
Like,
I think,
yeah, older age.
but I think people are a lot fitter than were in the past, right?
That's true. Yeah,
I think there's a lot
true.
of, just one moment, please.
No worries.
Oh, it's okay. It was a misdial. Yeah, so I think age is not such a determiner these days for a lot of activities. There's a lot of older people who enjoy a lot of physical activities. Okay, but you get the general idea.
Yeah.
Education. Tendency is such in society that the educated sector seek adventure-related and independent forms of tourism. So somebody who is not very well educated and lives in Europe, where are they going to go? Do you think? They live, let's say they live in London and then they didn't go to university.
Mhm.
Where are you going to send
Maybe
them?
maybe a country similar to England, like France or Italy, somewhere around Europe.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So yeah.
Uh, so it would
Mhm.
be very similar to Europe, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I agree. You would send them to Europe, but particularly in Spain, there are a lot of resorts that cater to people who are maybe working class, and they have an idea of what a holiday should be. Really, the weather is the most important thing. They can
Mhm.
go and they can get a suntan, they can go home, and their friends can see that because of the color of their skin, they've been abroad. That's kind of the most important thing to them. And in in Spain, you'll find a lot of resorts that have all the facilities that you would find in the United Kingdom. Fish and chip shops, they have pubs. Everything is almost the same as the United Kingdom. The only thing that's different is the weather.
Mm.
And this is primarily because of level of education. People who are educated would never want to go to those destinations. They want to experience something new. They want to learn something new. So education is an important factor in this. And level of income is also key. All right. I think education and level in income are also very strongly related. And people on lower level incomes tend not to be the most educated people. So their choice of destination may be affected by that.
So it's
So
correlated.
I think so myself.
Mhm.
So education, level of income, socio-economic background, various social backgrounds. I think there's strong correlation between these elements.
Mhm.
Now, the last thing that we need to talk about, some of these factors are going to be push factors and some are going to be pull factors. So what do we mean? Push factors are
So
those that generate desire to travel.
mhm.
Why travel? So this is going to push you to a destination. So what sort of factors would push somebody to a destination, do you think?
maybe time off from work,
Okay. That's
and
okay.
then
Without time off from work, they're not having a holiday, right?
yeah,
That's
or
one.
like political events in your home country.
Okay. Yeah. You might be tired of living in a particular country. May you want to move, but the weather in your country is also going to be a push factor, right? If you're living
Yes.
in Leningrad and it's -10, I think maybe Thailand's going to be a good choice for you. So what about pull factors?
Things that maybe things at the destination you're going to that attracts them.
Okay.
So like
All right.
maybe promotion packages or like events at the destination like Songkran
Mhm. So
could be cool.
again, the weather could represent a push and a pull factor, right? So
Yeah.
the weather is very bad in your country, that's going to push you away. And the weather is very nice in Thailand, that's going to pull you towards that destination. But there's also a number of factors. I mean, what the places that you can visit, what you can learn in the country. There's a number of different pull factors. Okay. All right. What time are we now?
3:30.
We're roughly 3:30. Okay. So
Yes.
typically in the class, we take a break right now.
Yep.
Would you like to take a break?
I was yeah, I'd like to take a break because I'm gonna hop in the car pretty soon and I'll be back on Zoom.
You're going to what?
Well, my dad's done with his work and we're going back home, so I'm gonna be hopping on the car in about 10 minutes.
You're going to be traveling in our car in 10 minutes.
Yes.
And you're going to be watching my lesson in 10 minutes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'll be back.
Okay. All right. Well, I hope your Wi-Fi holds out.
Yes, that's what I'm worried about too, but I think it will hold up.
I've had a number of students try this, and the only successful student I've had was in Japan.
Oh,
Most students are okay for a little bit, and then suddenly they just disappear. But let's see how it goes. Okay.
yeah. Okay.
All right. So I'll see you what in 10 minutes.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. See you in 10 minutes. Get
Mhm.
in your car, get comfortable, and we'll speak again.
Okay. See you.
Bye-bye. Are you in your car yet?
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right. Do you want to continue?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we've just covered a little bit about what we did in the first class, just to refresh your memory, and we did a summary of what we did in the second class.
Mhm.
So we're going to have a look at this now. Okay, so what are we looking at? Obviously, what's going to be very important to any of your customers is pricing.
Mhm.
So set a pricing structure that is realistic and attractive to identify potential customers. So what do we mean by realistic? Again, there's going to be a lot of perception regarding the value of a particular tour. Some people think it's value for money, some people think it's not. Okay.
Yes.
Also, we need to look at negotiating partnerships and alliances that will deliver requirements to agreed quality standards within a budget. Okay.
Yep.
So let's look at pricing first of all. Now, question I asked you before, what are the profit margins for travel and tourism?
What is travel and tourism?
Yeah, the profit margin. How much profit do you make travel and tourism tour?
Not sure.
Not sure. Okay, so just to refresh your memory, it's 1 to 2% profit.
Wow.
Okay, so is this a lot of product profit?
No.
Okay, and so to get a decent income, you have to send a lot of people on a lot of holidays.
Mhm.
And that's why we're talking about mass tourism. Now, tourism is mass tourism.
Mhm.
Okay, when people say tourism, they mean mass tourism, unless there's something else, unless there's another adjective to describe it. Okay.
Yep.
How do travel agents make a living? So they always involved in mass tourism. The more that they send, the more money they make. That's it.
Mhm.
And what are the problems with mass tourism, do you think,
Overpopulation.
of a destination? Yeah. Is it good for the environment?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It
And
harms.
is it good for local communities?
No. It's like invasion of local communities, I'd
Okay.
say.
So, for example, if you go to Pattaya,
Mhm.
it's actually these days it's getting quite difficult to see a road sign which is in Thai.
Thai. Yeah.
First they'll be in English, then they're usually in Russian these days, maybe even Chinese. So that's clearly not good for not designed for the local community. And so the local community is less important than the tourists. Any other problems related to mass tourism, do you think?
Environmental. But yeah, nothing else.
Well, do you think of any other?
Maybe affects the economy,
In what respect?
but it's positive.
Well, that's
Positively.
yeah, okay. That's a positive effect.
Yeah. So
So
no.
ethical considerations,
Mhm.
ethics, what's right and what's wrong. That's basically what ethics is. Is it right or wrong what you're doing? And so if it's bad for the environment, then no, it's not ethical.
Mhm.
If it's bad for local communities, then it's not ethical. Now, you said making money.
Mhm.
That's the way people make money. But is that the way people want to make money? That's an ethical
No.
consideration. Do
Yeah.
you want to be responsible for problems with the community? Do you want to be responsible for problems with the environment? Because if you engage in tourism you engage in mass tourism, and these are the issues. Okay,
Mhm. Yep.
so those are ethical considerations. Okay, now beyond that, once you have decided that you are going to offer a tour, then you have to establish a price for the tour. And competition is very important. What do we mean by competition?
So other destinations or travel agents offering the same product.
Okay, so you've got 3 days in Phuket for 25,000 baht, but everybody else has a tour which is between 19,000 and 2,000. Are you going to sell your tour?
No, it's too expensive.
It's too expensive. So this is a very genuine determinant. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, how do you come up with a price of 25,000 baht?
Sure.
Somebody must have thought of that price. How did they determine that price, do you think?
Maybe by like trying to find a percentage of profit for the company.
So how do you do that? Well, first of all, you have to look at your costs.
Yeah.
3 days in Phuket. Someone's got to fly there from Bangkok. Someone's got to stay in a hotel. Someone's got to ride around on a bus.
Mhm.
Maybe they're going to visit a museum. Okay, so what have we got here? We've got 20,000, 30, 31,000.
Mhm.
But the tour are being offered for 20,000, 19,000.
Hmm.
It may prove that you just cannot offer a tour based on the costs and the competition. It might not be practical. It might not be viable. And you might not be able to do it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Supply and demand. What do we mean by supply and demand?
So how many people are buying?
December, January, and February, hotel rooms in Thailand are more expensive than other times. Why is that?
Mhm. Because the demand is higher, so we increase the price to fit the demand.
Okay. Okay. Now, if there is no demand,
Mhm.
for example, in November, what sort of price is it going to be? It's going to be somewhere between the low season and the high season.
Low season.
Low season prices, when it's really hot and really wet, they're going to be very cheap.
Yes.
So we mentioned this again, state of the economy. Okay, so for example, a cheeseburger in the United States is more expensive than in Mexico. Why? Because everything's more expensive than in Mexico. Because the economy in Mexico is not as strong as the economy in the United States.
Mhm.
Okay? So it may prove, because the economy is so poor, that you just cannot offer a particular destination. You can't get the money that you need. It's impossible. People don't have enough money. The economy is too poor. Another factor is, okay, so yeah, we've got exchange rates. So at the moment, £1 is equal to 1.27 United States dollars. Okay, the strongest that the pound and dollar is, £1 used to be in 1972, 2.649. So at that stage, travel to the United States was very, very cheap.
Mhm.
But in February 1985, it was nearly equal, in which case travel to the United States was obviously very expensive.
Yes.
However, another determinant, what makes you decide to do something, organization objectives. Okay, now, When you go on holiday, do you normally have a chauffeur and a Mercedes Benz?
No.
You don't. But
No.
that might be the service that you are offering. Okay, that might be the service that you want to offer.
Mhm.
So is this going to be mass tourism, do you think?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, how many percent of travelers are going to need this service?
Maybe like 1.
I think maybe half of a percent.
Oh, half?
Ah, yeah, I don't think 5%. That's quite a lot.
Oh, I see. I
So
thought you said
how are you
half.
going to make money from this?
Increase the price.
So the state of the economy is not going to really have any impact on this.
Yes.
Supply and demand is not going to have any impact. The cost is not going to have any, because you're dealing with, who are you going to deal with?
High income people?
And they want the service. They're not concerned about cost. It's not an issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So some organizations, you go down Kosan Road, their objective is to attract budget tourists. This company is only concerned with the elite, the very top people, making sure that they're catered for so that their stay in Thailand is as comfortable as possible.
Mhm.
So a term, a package holiday, what does it mean? A package holiday organized by a travel company for which you pay a fixed price that includes the cost of the hotel and travel and sometimes food. Have you ever been on a packaged holiday?
Yes.
Yeah, where did you go?
Japan.
You went to Japan. And what did you get for your money?
Well, we got a rented car, then plane tickets and the hotel. That's all we got.
You got a chauffeur.
Well, we only got the car, no chauffeurs.
Oh, you got a car. So you had
Yes. Yes, we do.
Okay, but still, that's pretty good, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so instead of paying for 3 different things, you paid one thing. You paid one cost.
Yes.
And that obviously makes it convenient for you to be able to do this. If you had to arrange all of those 3 components, it would be practically impossible for you to do. Yeah, so that's really what package tours are, package holidays. You're paying somebody for the convenience of being able to go there without having to speak to people, without having to address various issues. Thailand is a noted destination for these types of holidays. It's a big deal in Thailand. Okay, so Bangkok, Pattaya, Chiang Mai, where else have we got? Koh Samui. Package tours, package holidays in Thailand are driving the industry. They are a very, very big component of the industry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this definition is not mine, it's from Cambridge Business English Dictionary. Okay.
Yep.
Pricing a package holiday. How do you price it? Price of a package holiday mostly depends on the type of transport and accommodation.
Mm-hmm.
So, rented car versus a car with a chauffeur. That's going to be a little bit cheaper than a car with a chauffeur. The package is going to be the sum total of the component parts. All right. So if the transport is very expensive and the accommodation is very expensive, then the cost is going to be very expensive. Other costs are also included in the price of the holiday. That could be food, as we've already said. It could be a number of different things. Contracted bed is connected to a contracted flight, seat by tour operators. So when they organize package holidays, it's usually requires them to hire, to obtain seats on a plane first. And the seats on a plane will always be associated with a room in a hotel. Okay,
I
so
see.
we're not just buying transport, we're buying the whole package.
Mhm.
Tour operators calculate the price of package tour based on the prices of with contracted with suppliers. So the good thing about this type of travel is that as a provider, you can get low prices. If you work on the assumption that you're always going to send 100 people somewhere, then you can book 100 tickets on a plane and you can book 100 rooms in a hotel. With those types of numbers, you can get significant discounts. And those discounts are what are going to give you your percentage and give you your profit.
I see.
Okay.
Yep.
So how do you calculate your package tour? Well, there's lots of elements. Okay. Cost per seat, including airport tax, $160. Flight costs. That's the total of the flight cost. Cost per seat, including empty leg. What does that mean?
Maybe there's space for your feet. More
No,
space for your feet.
no, that's leg space, not empty leg.
I'm not sure what empty leg is.
Okay, so when you travel somewhere,
Mhm.
you travel to a destination, but your plane travels back.
Oh, so it's one way.
So if you have a plane,
Yep.
and that plane has 100 seats going to Japan,
Mhm.
when it flies back, it has nobody in it.
Mhm.
So you have to calculate the cost of the empty leg as well.
I see.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The cost is there's going to be cost. Yeah. You're not just paying for that flight. You're paying for the whole journey.
Mhm.
And typically, people will organize flights based on 90% occupancy. So if they have 100 seats, then that means that at 90%, they're going to make a profit.
Mhm.
Okay, so if they sell 90% of the 100 seats that they've got, then they will make a profit. So instead of trying to calculate everything at 100,
Mhm.
then 90 is the cutoff place. That's where they're going to make money. Anything over 90, they're going to make more money. Okay, so as you can see, there's lots of components here for your selling price. Okay,
Yes.
and some of these costs may be variable. What do we mean by variable costs?
It can change.
Okay, all right. So some costs are variable. Cost-based pricing is strictly based on the real costs of single services included. So cost-based pricing, if you decide that you want to charge your customers based on the price, the cost-based price, then you will look at all of your costs, you will add it up, and you will put a percentage on top of that. Okay, so that's a fairly straightforward, fairly easy way of doing it. But there's also market-based pricing.
Mhm.
So let's say, for example, you have a cost-based pricing. You have a holiday and your holiday to Phuket. If you add up the price of your seat, your plane seat and your hotel room, and add a percentage on top of it, you look at all of the costs, and we're talking about maybe 20,000 baht, and 5,000 baht of that is profit for you.
Mhm.
That's great, but the market-based price might be, it's only 10,000 baht. You cannot offer your tour, right? You cannot,
Yeah.
because the market somehow can only accept that holiday that you're offering at 10,000 baht.
Mhm.
Now, it might work the other way. It might be that after cost-based pricing, your holiday is remarkably cheap. So if your holiday is remarkably cheap and other holidays are more expensive, do you think that will benefit you?
Mm, it can be in both ways, I think.
Okay, can you explain?
I think it'll benefit us because there'll be more customers, but then also like the competitors won't be happy about our pricing, which might cause some problems.
Well, that's something I didn't actually think about. You might have some problems with your competitors.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't think about that. Okay, so look, if you have the choice of 3 holidays, one is 20,000 baht, one is 20,000 baht, and the other one to the same place, same hotel, the other one's 12,000 baht.
Mhm.
There's 2 ways
I
that you
won't
can
understand.
think about it. You can think about it in terms of, wow, I'm going to save so much money. Or you may think about it in terms of, well, what's the problem with this tour?
Yeah.
Why is this tour so much cheaper than the others? Yeah, the market is suggesting 20,000, but this guy, so maybe this is just a really cheap tour. Maybe that's what people will think. Okay.
Yeah.
So when pricing both economic and psychological aspects of the price. So the psychological aspects, obviously, what people think. And you need to take these into account. You need to think about what other people might think. A very cheap holiday could go both ways. People might be very happy with it because it's cheap, or they may be cautious of it because it's cheap. So which is the better price? Think.
Sorry, it got cut.
Huh?
Your voice got cut. I think because I'm home and I connected to the home Wi-Fi, so it cut off for like 5 seconds.
Okay, so you got 3 prices here for a holiday.
Yes.
The better price.
The top one.
I mean,
A.
999. Why?
Yes. Because it's the cheapest.
Okay. Is it very far from the others?
No, it's not. Oh,
Okay.
well, I'd say 0.999 because it looks the cheapest because I've heard like people in the US likes to do like 0.99 instead of $1.
Okay. So why is it an issue?
Maybe it's a visual perception.
It is visual perception. How many digits are there?
3.
Okay. So how many digits are there in 9,999?
4.
And how many digits in 1,000?
3.
No.
I mean 4, sorry. Yeah.
So
So it's the same.
4 digits goes all the way from 1,000 to 999. So at first glance, if you look at it really quickly,
Mhm.
this is just 4 digits.
Yeah.
And 4 digits, if you don't pay real attention, it could be significantly more expensive than $1,000. 999, we're in the clear. We know it's just 3 digits. It's anywhere between 900 and 999. So
Mhm.
people don't pay significant amount of attention. They just look at things. And then when something catches their interest, then they maybe look at it more carefully. 999 is more likely to catch interest than B or C.
Mhm.
So we got a number of ways to establish pricing. Okay. And
Yep.
we're going to just look at a few of them. Okay, today. There's
Mhm.
more in your book if you want to have a look at them, but I'm just looking at the main ones here.
Okay.
So fluid pricing, the rise of price by tour operators from the original price stated in the brochure is known as fluid pricing. What's the brochure?
It's like an advert, piece of paper of adverts.
What's on that piece of paper?
The advertisement of your products
Okay,
and packages.
okay. So when you buy a holiday,
Mhm.
yeah, when you buy a service from a company, let's say, for example, you have an office and you want a cleaning company.
Yes.
How do you get the cleaning company? You sign a contract, right?
Yeah.
But when you're having a holiday, that's a service, right?
Mhm.
Somebody's going to send you to a holiday and organize your flight, maybe you organize your car. Do you sign a contract?
No.
So how do you know the cost?
Not sure.
It's
They
in
tell you? Oh, it's in the brochure. Okay. Mhm.
So the cost in the brochure is in many respects the contract.
Okay.
Everything in your brochure is an advertisement, but you must get everything you advertise or the company must provide everything that's being advertised. So in many respects, the brochure is the contract. So what about this type of pricing? Is it going to be successful? The rise of price by tour operators from the original pricing stated in the brochure is known as fluid pricing. Good?
Yes, I think
Why?
it's good.
Why is it good?
Because the pricing that's set on the brochure, I think, is already calculated by the travel agent that did gain profit when doing their operations.
If I'm going on a holiday and it says $999
Mhm.
and it said that in the brochure, and then when
Yes.
I go to pay for it, it's $123. Sorry, it's
There's tax.
$1,023. How am I going to react?
Badly, because it's
So
more.
if the brochure represents the contract, then fluid pricing is not going to work for this.
Mhm.
You can't increase the price more than the price in the brochure. So fluid pricing is not a good option.
Mhm.
Discount pricing.
Mhm.
This refers to the discounted prices on unsold holidays in order to maintain profitability. Now, we said before that when you are calculating costs, typically people work on 90%. They don't work on 100%. So if they have 100 seats on a plane, they organize their pricing structures based on 90 seats. If they sell 90 seats, they know they're going to make a profit.
Yep.
So what are you going to do with the other 10 seats?
Try to sell it by lowering the price.
Okay, so this is discount pricing. So if you sell one of those seats by 50%, it's just more profit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Seasonal pricing. We talked about that before. Yeah.
Mhm.
Thailand's season is around
December.
November, December, January.
Mhm.
Outside of that season, prices get significantly cheaper. Market-led pricing. Well, we touched on this previously. Market-led pricing is known as the going rate. Okay, now, if the going rate is $20,000 and people accept that, you can't go above that rate. It's impossible. People's psychology won't allow them to buy something that's more expensive than the going rate. So this means that it's kind of accepted what the price is, and the market kind of agrees with what the customers feel. One-off pricing. This strategy is used on unique products that cannot be provided off the shelf. Off the shelf. What do we mean by off the shelf?
Like that's not presented in the store.
No,
Like-
not really.
Or
Okay.
maybe
Kind of a play on words. When you go into 7-Eleven,
mhm,
there's lots of products on the shelf, right?
yeah.
Okay. And then when you take it off the shelf, you pay the price, which is it's advertised. So you go in there and you get chocolate bar and you take it and you pay the 30 baht that it's advertised for.
Mhm,
Unique profits. Unique products.
mhm,
Chocolate bar is by no means unique.
yeah.
But some products are very unique. All right, now for example, durian.
Mm.
Some durian is extremely expensive. Why?
Because there's the season for durian is pretty short to
Okay.
grow durians, maybe.
Yeah, but again, there's a seasonal aspect of it, but some durians, some individual durians
Or
earn
taste
a very
better,
lot
right?
of money. People have to spend a lot of money to buy some individual. Why is that?
Because it's it's harder to grow, maybe like the type of durian.
Okay. And
It's
so
one of a kind.
it's one of a kind, exactly. So can you put that on the shelf in 7-Eleven?
No.
So it's not an off the shelf pricing, it's one-off pricing. This is unique.
I
Okay.
see.
It
Yep.
cannot be done again. Yeah.
Mhm,
And I mean, for example, right now, there's examples of tours which are going to places around the world which they're concerned about the environment. Maybe in the future, there's not going to be any ice in Antarctica or the North Pole.
Mm.
So this is something that's going to be very expensive. Yeah.
Yes.
Cost plus pricing. I think the name's quite clear. You add up all the total costs and you add a percentage to it. So this is very common. This is common sense approach to pricing.
Mhm.
Marginal pricing. Yeah. High fixed costs and low variable costs involved in travel and tourism has led to the adoption of marginal pricing. What does marginal mean?
In like a range, specific range,
Is it
or like that cannot exceed this amount of money.
okay? So if something is marginal, it really is. There's a limit to the cost of it.
Yes.
Now, we've said that in travel and tourism, the profit margins are within 1 to 3%.
Mhm.
You can't charge any more for holidays. It's just impossible. There's too many choices. There's too much. There are too many options. And why is this? We've got high fixed costs. What does fixed costs mean?
And like it never changes.
And low variable costs.
So costs that change depending on your how you sell your products or other stuff.
Can you give me an example of a fixed cost?
The fixed cost could be like a rent from your house,
And variable cost, what's that?
maybe electric bills.
Okay. Differential pricing. Demand-based pricing depends on the ability of the organization to segment its markets and by the consumer's ability to pay. What do we mean?
Or like base your price on who you're selling your products to.
Yeah. Consumers' ability to pay. Okay, so if you are selling to a superstar.
Mhm.
If you're selling your holiday to Lisa Blackpink or just somebody from a Finn college, Finn business school, which one's going to be more expensive, you think?
Lisa's.
Okay, so we'll probably add a few things to Lisa's tour, but essentially it's going to be more expensive. Price skimming. This strategy is adopted when market innovators are being targeted. What is a market innovator? What does it mean?
Maybe
An innovator. Do they do new
yeah,
things?
like
or
creator, new things. So maybe like they're trying to sell their product to a new market
Mhm.
that's just been introduced, new type of people.
So it could be a unique product, or it could be a product sold to a unique market.
Mhm.
So let's work with it being a unique product. You sell a unique product,
Mhm.
you're going to sell it probably expensively because it's unique. And if it becomes popular, it's no longer unique. People
Yeah.
want it. So other people are going to copy you. And if you are the first in the market, how can other people get a foothold in the market? How can people be successful? Well, they're going to skim the prices.
Right.
So that means that they're going to offer the same thing at a cheaper price for a limited period. Why? To establish themselves in that market.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Penetration pricing. Frequent strategy when imitation is a key objective. Okay, now the first iPhone came out. It was very unique and very expensive,
Mhm.
but it immediately created a market. Samsung then created their own version of the iPhone. It was significantly cheaper. Okay.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
their objective was to penetrate the market. Apple had created the market, but Samsung wanted a part of it. And so by selling their product significantly cheaper to Apple, they've always been in a position where they're going to get a percentage of the market that Apple created. Product line pricing. This refers to pricing along a product line or across a portfolio. What do we mean by portfolio product line? Can you give me an example of a product line?
Maybe like a branding, like Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, okay. So if it's Louis Vuitton, do they have cheap versions of Louis Vuitton?
No.
No, everything's kind of expensive.
Yeah.
And what's the difference between product and portfolio?
Product is like one piece and portfolio is like your whole company, what you offer, like everything your company offers, maybe.
Okay,
Not
and
just a single product.
I think it's more lending towards services and products.
Oh, okay.
So you have like a portfolio of services. You may have a portfolio of products as well, but services might be included in a portfolio.
I see.
Price bundling. This is when a package which includes a bundle of products and one combined price is charged to the customer. Okay, so when you buy an iPhone, do you get a charger?
Yes.
You do. So you don't
But
have
now they only give like the cables, no more outlets, which is pretty weird.
it's pretty cheap of them,
Yeah,
considering the money they make.
that's very true.
Okay. But if you think about the average mobile phone, it's actually a bundle of products. It's a cable, it's a charger, and a phone.
Yeah.
And that's offered at a single price.
Mhm.
Can you think of any other items which are bundled together
maybe can you say like fine dining restaurants?
Fine dining restaurant. What's bundled?
So like appetizers, main course, desserts, and then drinks.
Okay, yeah, that's possible.
Mhm.
Obviously, travel industry. You're bundling prices, yeah? You're putting
Yes.
you're mixing and matching different products and services.
Mhm.
And very curiously, in the health industry these days, there's a lot more price bundling.
Mm.
Yeah, you
Like
can
in insurances or
well, you can get a fixed price for various health tests.
yeah,
Right.
okay.
So you can get
Yes.
tested for cancer and various types of cancer, and you all pay one
I
price
see.
for all of the tests that you have. Tactical pricing. This is adopted for extreme short-term situations. What do we mean by extreme short-term situations? So let's say, for example, there's oh, let me think of a really, I had an example in my mind before, but it's just escaped me.
Mhm.
An extreme short-term situation. Let's say, for example, a meteorite
Mhm.
came down from space and
Yes.
landed in Isan.
Mhm.
You know what a meteorite is, right?
Yeah, the
You think
asteroids
people would
from
want to
space.
see it.
Well, yes, they would.
Why would they want to see it in Thailand? Why would people want to see it? Are they interested
Because
in meteorites? They're interested in astronomy.
I think they're more interested in it's how it's unique and new.
I
I
think
just
they're more interested because they think they could get the lottery number.
that's very true.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
that's why my wife would want to see it. She would want to look at it and see the lottery numbers and the lines on it. Yeah.
We count the holes.
So, do you think people would want to do this forever?
No,
No. So this is a short-term situation,
I see.
something that's brand new. Is it going to be cheap or expensive to go up and see this?
Expensive.
It's going to be expensive, but then people lose interest, and then, well, we'll see what
Price will
happens.
drop.
But in the
Yeah.
next 3 weeks, we're going to make a lot of money. So as we've said many times, tour operation business, very low profit margins, 1 to 2%. I've gone up as far as 1 to 3%. And opportunity to make revenue. It's very risky business, right? Something
Yep.
can go wrong, you can lose all of your 1 and 2%. So how do they make money? Why does anybody ever go into this business? It's
They do mass tourism.
again, sorry.
They do mass tourism, like they just sell a lot.
Well,
That's
they
how
do
they make
mass
money.
tourism, yeah, but the same problem that can affect one person will affect thousands of people.
Yes.
All right. So let's say, for example, you have 1,000 holidays coming to England from the UK, but the Thai government changes the visa requirements. None of them can come.
Mhm.
You're not going to be in good situation, right?
Yeah.
So how do people make money from this very risky business? Now, they do make money and they do engage in this business, but if there's no problem at all, they only make 1 or 2%.
Mhm.
So mass tourism, thousands of people come, but it's still only 1 or 2%.
Create loyal customers.
Well, that's possible. Okay, well, let's explore that a little bit. Okay.
Yep. Alliances.
Okay. So somebody's traveling in Thailand. What do they
Mhm.
need? They need a car.
Mhm.
Sorry, they need a travel insurance. If they don't have travel insurance, what's going to happen to them?
Well, they might get injured and then have to pay so much for medical bills.
Okay, so they pay for insurance, and insurance companies, travel
Yes.
insurance companies, they are insurance companies. They're not going to go out and try to find travelers to buy this insurance. So who are they going to rely on?
Travel agents,
They're going to rely
tour
on
companies.
operators like you, and how you're going to make money from it.
Commissions.
Okay. So
I see.
travel insurance, it's a big thing. Yeah. It's an add-on. Many tours require travel insurance as part of the cost. It's just not even, you get a plane, you get a hotel room, and you get travel insurance. You have no choice. Okay?
Yep.
Visa and passport. Okay, now, if somebody needs a visa, where do you go for a visa?
I don't know. I'm not sure what it's called.
Embassy.
Because oh yeah, the embassy, yeah.
So if
I forgot of the word.
you're living in London and you want to travel to Thailand, you've got to go to the embassy and you've got to get a visa. And
Yes.
what's the problem with that?
There's queues, and there's like you have to get accepted.
So you've got to go and you've got to get it to them, then you've got to pick it up on another day. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, if you're not going to get accepted, you're not going to get accepted. But the big problem with that is it's time consuming.
Yeah.
People don't want to take a day off work to get a visa. So what do? They pay you to do it.
I see.
Okay. And it's the same with a passport. Now, passport used to be real easy for British people. They go to the European Union passport office, and it would take maybe a day to get one passport. It was very, very easy. Now, do you know where the British Embassy is in Thailand?
No.
Nobody knows where the British Embassy is in Thailand. Nobody. Absolutely not. I do not know where it is. I know where.
Is there even one?
There is one, of course. They have to have one.
Okay.
You have to have an embassy, right? When the government in Thailand has a problem with the government in the United Kingdom, they call the ambassador and complain to the ambassador, and the ambassador complains to the government. That's why we need an embassy. You must have an embassy. But the fact is that since the UK left the European Union, I don't know anybody who's British who knows where the embassy is. I will have to go onto the network, I have to go onto the internet and find out where it is. And I will have to find out when I can go, and I'll have to find out how much it costs, because everything has changed. So again, this is problematic. Yeah. It's easier for one person to go down with 100 passport applications than it is for one person to go down with one passport application. And again, you will pay a commission for somebody to take your passport down to the embassy. Okay. Lounge facilities and onboard services allows travelers to relax and enjoy access to the comfort and facilities. Airlines pay a set commission to the travel agents when travelers use what are lounge facilities?
It's like the place where you rest, and they offer you like food.
Where?
Free food in airports.
Okay, so you can pay for you can upgrade to different lounge facilities. Okay, and yeah, you can get better quality food, and you can just have a better quality area. Onboard services. Now, a lot of planes these days You can upgrade your onboard services. So what does that mean? It means maybe you can pay to go from economy class to first class.
Mhm.
Okay. And if you can arrange that as your tour operator, obviously you're going to get a commission on this. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So we touched on this before, and you seem to have the idea very easily.
Mhm.
Fixed costs versus variable costs. Okay.
Yep.
Some costs do not fluctuate and some costs do. So rent and rates, do they fluctuate?
No.
Yes, but not on a monthly basis.
Yeah. Okay.
Insurance costs, no. The interests on the loans, they can fluctuate. It depends on the Bank of Thailand in Thailand, but generally you'd be given a lot of notice of that, and it's usually the same every month. Staff
Mhm.
salaries, lighting and heating, all of these things you can decide. Well, for example, market research, you can decide on the cost. Cleaning, you're going to have a cleaning company.
Mhm.
Okay. Postage, why is postage going to be different on, say, a
Is
monthly?
postage like mailing?
Why is it different?
Because it's like it's not for sure how many customers you get or how much you have to mail. It's like a not exact amount.
Okay, well, there's going to be periods of time when you're going to be doing advertising, right?
Yes.
And so during
I
that
see.
time, you're going to be sending out advertising documents.
Mm-hmm.
And so during that time, you're going to have more postage costs. Telephone, fax, and internet. I tend not to agree with internet. Okay. I think maybe this material came from a time when usage was the component.
Mm-hmm.
Telephone, fax. Do people use the fax anymore? I'm not even sure. Telephone, yeah. And again,
Yeah.
why is your telephone charge going to be different every month?
Because it depends on your sell rate. Maybe if you get more customers, there'll be more people calling in, calling out. Maybe you have to contact more people. Just really depends on how well you're selling.
Yeah, and again, you might try to contact customers, you might make cold calls, you might contact people, friends of friends, etc.
Mhm.
Hire of equipment. If it's not on a contract basis, if you suddenly need some equipment, then that's going to be a variable cost.
Mhm.
Advertising and publicity, well, obviously it's going to depend on when you need that advertising, so it's going to be a variable cost. Bank charges. What are bank charges?
Is it like when you loan from the bank and then the interest rates?
No, that is a fixed charge.
Interesting.
It's the same every
I
month.
see. I'm not sure what bank charges are.
So if you have a lot of customers paying by check,
Mm-hmm.
the bank usually has to process a check, right?
Yes.
So it's not money. They have to check that the check is correct. They have to check that everything's above board. Somebody has to get involved when there's a payment by check. So
Mhm.
typically they will put a charge on paying by check. So the more people who pay by check, the more bank charges there are going to be.
Yes. So is it like through commissions and not like monthly
No.
cost?
No, so for example, a bank, if you pay by cash, there's no charge. But if your customer pays by cash, no charge. Obviously, cash is cash. If
Yeah.
your customer pays by check, somebody
Mm-hmm.
has to check that the check is correct. Somebody has to make sure that the other bank has enough money in it.
Mm-hmm.
So they charge for that. It could be like 0.1% or
I see.
0.5%, something like that.
I see.
More people who pay by check, the more somebody's going to have to check the check.
Yeah.
in which case there's going to be more charges.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What are professional fees? What are they?
Maybe like when you hire professionals for a specific job.
So if you're a business, what sort of specific jobs might you hire a professional for?
Maybe market research.
Okay.
Or I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
Evaluations.
if you're not big enough to have your own marketing staff, then you'll probably employ somebody to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Part-time staff. When are you going to need part-time staff as a tour operator?
Maybe when you're low on staff, or maybe when you're missing, like you're temporarily missing a position.
Okay, so if you got a member of staff ill, then you're going to bring
Yes.
in somebody part-time.
Mm-hmm.
But that really would be a fixed cost because they're going to
It would
be there until that person returns. So when are you going to need part-time staff more than the staff you have?
Maybe overtime.
Okay, so let's think about the travel industry. We said in Thailand, when are most people going to come?
In November. I see. So like high seasons, hire more staff as
Yeah,
part-time.
December, January, February. If you're going to be looking after more customers, you're going to hire more staff for that. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So you give them a 3-month contract or word of mouth or just an agreement between the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
Printing and stationery, well, this could be a variable cost, but I would also include it on the fixed cost side.
Mm-hmm.
The number of brochures that you print is not usually a mistake, but I can see why it's in variable costs as well. If an opportunity occurs, you may need to react quickly, in which case there will be more printing. What about transaction charges? What are transaction charges?
Like when you make transaction, there's charges like credit card fees, maybe.
And even money. Yeah, if you transfer, if you change
Exchange rate.
US dollars to Thai baht,
Mm-hmm.
there are charges for that transaction, and
I
those
see.
charges, that money is going to come out of your business, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now, cost structure of a travel agency. Different businesses can be differentiated by their features and characteristics. So we said before, some companies may be very high cost, very we looked before at the chauffeur service. That's not a typical service. That's going to be focusing on people with high incomes. It's going to be focusing on people with very specific needs.
Mm-hmm.
One characteristics which distinguish is its cost structure. Okay, so again, if a company has very specific targets in terms of customers, they're going to charge a lot of money. Cost structure refers to the proportion of fixed and variable costs within the total operating structure of the business. So we've gone through that. Travel businesses are often capital and labor intensive. What does that mean?
There's a lot of like people working in that company.
So
Needs a lot of
let's
workers.
think about the travel industry.
Mm-hmm.
Which parts of the travel industry do not involve people?
Services. Wait, no.
Let's think about it. You go to the airport, you
Mm-hmm.
get on a plane, you fly to Thailand, you go to your hotel, you travel to a travel destination, you look around, Can you think of any part of the travel industry that's not involved people?
I don't think so.
There's barely anything. Now,
Yes.
maybe you could book a holiday online, maybe, but someone's going to have to check that.
Mhm.
This is not like a factory. Yeah. So on the first day, we compared it to a company making a car. They make a car, they sell it. They can bring robots in to make the cars. They can reduce the number of people on their workforce. Everything in the travel industry is labor intensive. It requires people. And it's also capital intensive. What does that mean?
Mm,
Not
like
sure.
that maybe takes up a lot of space.
No,
not sure.
it takes a lot of money.
Money.
Okay. So
Mhm.
capital is investment. Capital is the money that you invest in something. Now, we said before that perhaps a tour operator will buy 100 seats on a plane.
Yes.
They have to pay for that.
Mm.
They have to pay for everything before they start making money.
I see.
All right? Now, when you have a normal job, you work, you get paid.
Mhm.
But in the travel industry, you have to pay for everything. Then you have to sell it, and then you will make money if you're lucky. So very capital intensive. You cannot run the travel industry or a travel business without paying for things. Okay?
Yep.
Travel agencies usually have a high fixed cost operating structure. Well, I would say not usually, but always.
I
Yeah.
see. Mhm.
Okay, the impacts of a high fixed cost operating structure on the travel agency. High fixed costs, high operating risk. What do we mean by that, do you think?
Since costs are always the same, there's more risks since we have to reach a certain threshold
Yeah, and if
and
you don't meet that threshold, what does that mean?
you lose money.
Okay, so this is heavy. Yeah, this is a very, I think every time that you organize a tour, you're going to be really scared. All right. High
Yes.
fixed cost businesses are quite, not quiet, revenue sensitive. They are very revenue sensitive. You can't
Mhm.
run a business without revenue, right? And your fixed costs mean that you're spending a lot of money. If you don't get that money back, you're in big trouble. Few variable costs meaning less latitude in terms of reducing costs, but greater scope to stimulate demand by reducing prices for off-peak periods. In the travel industry, you have big periods of time when it's unlikely that you are going to make money. And those are the times when you can make risks, take risks. You can try what you can do. You can experiment. You can see what's going to be successful and what's not going to be successful. And so that's what that means, right? You can look at off-peak periods and you can try various things. Okay.
Yes.
And as we said, capital intensive nature, you will be making money, but you will be spending a lot of money beforehand.
I see.
Okay. So we are game over as far as that's concerned.
Mhm.
And do you have any question? I think maybe seeing it's just the one of you, we might finish there.
Sounds
Have
good.
any questions on what we've just looked at?
No, I don't think I have any questions.
Absolutely clear.
Yes.
Best teacher ever.
Yes, you are.
Okay. So long as that goes in my report, I don't mind. All right. So where are you going to now? You're on the way to somewhere, right?
Well, no, I just got back home from my dad's work
So you
place.
were in your car before?
Well, I was at my dad's workplace before, and then I got in the car to come back home
And now
with
you're
my
at
dad.
home.
Yes.
So your dad works really close to where you live, right?
Yeah, pretty close. It's like about a station or two away.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah.
Where did you learn your English? I guess you've been studying abroad.
Yes, I've been studying in the States since high school.
Oh, I see. So
Yeah.
oh, you didn't go to university there.
Well, I did for like about a year, but then I tried to change my major to hospitality, and they didn't support it over there, or they didn't cover it in the university. So I tried to. So
Well,
right now I'm transferring to England instead.
so what did you study previously?
I did industrial design, so more of art.
So what's made you change from industrial design to the hospitality industry?
Maybe the courses they provide in that university. I wasn't really into like fine arts and AI designing
Mm.
stuff like that.
So it's quite, what made you choose that?
Well, my mom's in the hospitality business and my dad's in an art business. So at first I did a lot of art classes, like extracurricular art classes in high school, and I kind of enjoyed it. I'm not sure why, but that's why I started by choosing art first.
So you wanted to change that into product design and
Yeah.
you thought it would be easy, did you?
Well, I thought it'd be fun more than easy. Like it would be like exciting, but I
It
guess
wasn't.
yeah.
A lot of statistics, a lot of mathematics, a lot of stuff you probably didn't think about, right?
Yes, there was.
And why now you think your dad, who's in the hospitality industry? Your mum, do you say?
Yeah, my mom.
So what do you mean by she's in the hospitality industry? What does she do?
She owns 2 hotels and 3 apartments in Thailand.
Wow.
Yeah. One of the hotels in Hua Hin and one's in Wang Lang
Okay.
Market.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how's business at the moment?
Well, the rooms are like kind of full nearly every day in Hua Hin, but in Bangkok it's going so-so. It's not that great. Like it's hard to find customers, especially because the hotel is located in a very like local area.
Hmm.
It's hard to get to.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
it's like a niche. It's a
Yeah,
specific.
it's a boutique hotel.
Okay. All right. Well, good. That's great. So
Mhm.
what do you hope to do after you've taken hospitality degree? What's your objective?
Well, I'm thinking of taking over the family business, but before that, I think I'm gonna try to like apply for jobs that will give me experiences in the management
Hmm.
field. So maybe like in chain hotels or other boutique hotels before starting to manage my own.
Hmm. Will it, will it, will, so, but I mean, I think hotel management, you've got very specific qualifications for hotel management, right?
Yeah.
Where are you thinking of studying after you've finished at Fin Business School?
Well, I chose Coventry in London.
And which course?
The International Hospitality Management and Wellness course.
And wellness.
Yeah, and wellness. I chose the wellness one. There's one that offers no wellness and the other one with wellness. And I think like since in modern times people are more like concerned for their health and stuff like that. So I think it'll be a good selling point in the future.
I'm just looking at the course description now.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah. Okay. All right, so this course is specifically about management.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good choice. I think many of the students that I speak to kind of at this stage, they don't seem to know exactly what they want to do, but you've got a very clear idea of what you want to do.
Yeah. Yes, I do.
That's good. You've got more chance of being successful, I think, if you have a very clear idea of what you're going to do.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, look, I wish you the best of luck with that. Okay. I'll
Thank
see
you.
The next class.
Yes. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you so much.
I'll give it a shot, see what I can do. Have a great Songkran, and I'll see you back at Fin.
Yep. You too. Have a great Songkran.
All right. Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye.